Peace and blessings, beautiful ones. This is Dr. Akua with A Life of Peace Wellness Institute, and welcome back to the mark, the impact, and the legacy of a life of peace for the last 20 years, working in the community, building with healers, building with community activists, building with mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, helping to bring the impact of wellness to our communities so that we can now live in a more holistic and well way, even more so than our ancestors. So, continuing that legacy that they left for us. And speaking of legacy, I have a wonderful brother that is with me today that I have known for the whole time that a life of peace has been in existence, at
No,
least 20 years.
that's beautiful.
At
Thank
least
you.
20 years from the Baltimore and Washington, D.C. area. And let me tell you a little bit about him as we get started. He is known as the Success Scholar. And Dr. Haki Ammi is a best-selling author. He's a community organizer, which is where I met him. And he's
Mhm.
also an empowerment speaker, a radio and social media commentator. And he is also a U.S. Navy veteran. And he's been working for more than 20 years within the community as a firefighter and also an emergency response team. Okay. He currently serves as the president of Teaching Artists Institute, also known as TAI. He's been instrumental in bringing dozens of African Americans to Africa, including Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Ethiopia, and also Ghana. So that is all
Mhm.
around north, south, east, and west.
Yes, it is. Right. Look at that.
Yes, absolutely. So, brother, it is really good to have you, and I truly appreciate you coming and spending a little bit of time. You know, when
Hello.
we mark um time frames, 20 years is no small amount of time to be
Mhm.
working in the community.
Right.
And so when we came to celebrate this 20th year, my team, they were thinking of, oh, let's do it for a month. I said, no, 20 years is a long
Mm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
20 years has impacted thousands of students around the globe. We
Wow.
got to celebrate for the whole year. So
Right.
they came up with the series of live interviews, and I said, I've got to have some of the masters that have been out there doing the work, boots on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and actually putting in the time and the effort that has made organizations like mine and also yours to have that impact in the community.
Right.
So, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit more in terms of what it is that you do, or I can get right to the
Oh.
question.
Well, I'll just add a few little small notes. I previously have been working with Teaching Artists Institute, and that I really I wasn't. Many people thought that I've been to Africa, before, just because how I'm oriented, right? But I was very tactful in terms of the timing. I mean, I'm here, right here in the DC area, so culturally we get a lot of different speakers, and the whole cultural, holistic wellness, African centered uh, audiences. And so, I was in these spaces, but I also was, just locally coming up, for instance, in the Baltimore area. And, so being a community brother, and, just really evaluating myself, of course, but also the community. I was able to position myself in different political spaces, uh, but ultimately, I mean, I'm a global thinker, right? So I'm always centered, in Africa, in terms of how do we uh, do things that are here, for instance, with the diaspora, but also, orientating people in Africa, either by traveling, for instance, there, or study groups, or going connecting to different organizations, for instance, like how ASCAC was some years ago, Association for the Study of Classical African Civilizations. You have the Black psychologists, but that I was, sort of like a member of. But currently, really quick, and I work with different organizations, sit on several boards. One is uh, I'm sorry, the Maryland Black Caucus Foundation, so I'm the parliamentarian. So that's like we work with like all the black legislators in the state of Maryland, which Maryland has the largest black legislation, I'm sorry, delegation in the country. I also sit on the board working with the Frederick Douglass family, which is the Bailey family. They're over in Eastern Shore, where my family is from. And one big highlight was we took the governor, I'm sorry, one of the descendants of Frederick Douglass to meet with the new black governor. So that was big. We had a descendant of Harriet Tubman there. And finally, and I'll, could let you, go on, is the Institute of the Black World out of New York. You from Detroit or New York? Wait, or Chicago? Wait a minute.
Texas. I'm a
What?
Southern girl.
Texas. That's Dallas. Dallas. Was it Dallas?
Houston.
Houston. Okay, 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 okay. All right, all right. Thank you for that. But so the Institute of the Black World, and we actually just maybe 3 weeks ago, we just got back from Cuba. There was a delegation of 25 black, mostly black people from here that went to Cuba with what's going on, and we know that Cuba has been, in the news, well, in the United States, but with the United States, setting up, trying to invade, attack, or calling for regime change. But we know Cuba has been instrumental in Africa, and so we wanted to go on a humanitarian and fact-finding mission. So I was a part of that historic delegation, and there's a few news articles out on it. I got two in some different newspapers as well. So, but I'll just open with a few of those things. But thank you.
Okay, received. Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, today, when I think about all of the community work that you've done, and within our generation, we have legacy builders that leave legacy that have left legacies to us. You
Mhm.
mentioned Harriet Tubman. You mentioned the Frederick Douglass. You mentioned some of the organizations that have come and gone since during our time.
Mhm.
And my hope is that organizations like ours and the work that we've put in to bring wellness to the community, to bring knowledge to the community, to bring substance to not only our generation, but even the generation before us and the generations that are coming after us. So,
Mhm.
my question to you is what do we need to do as community organizations in order to build those kinds of legacies that are remembered by our people and carried on by our people? What are the key components of being a legacy builder?
Yes. Well, one thing we have to become better at succession planning, and ultimately that is the cultivation of leaders, of well-rounded thinking, conscious, aware, strategic individuals who know who they are, but and know their place in history, but that have enough uh, consciousness to say, um, for us as leaders, as the adults, as we are trying to build up, for instance, the next generation, we have to be able to spot talent and to spot potential, for instance, within our community. And that, takes a level of awareness, and we have to be selfless in a sense of, knowing, I'll say it, who to pour into, because ultimately, not everybody's gonna, kind of step up and grow and uh, matriculate through whatever systems and training. So we have to be able to evaluate and know. I mean, outside of, our seeds, our children, because sometimes the children can, kind of go their directions, right?
Right,
But
right, right.
so we have to be able to know, like, we got to think beyond. I mean, I know some people want to think about our lineage, et cetera, but we got to be able to build individuals up so that we can think about encouraging them to preserve the knowledge, preserve the history, and ultimately preserve their life and to value their life. And I'm, I had to evaluate myself, for instance, over the last few years in terms of, I know different people, they fight the systems in different ways, but when I learn how to manage my time and think about who I'm truly impacting and the quality of life that I need, I realize I can't afford to throw my wisdom away just to anyone. So I mean, although, we have to plant seeds, right? Give people an opportunity, but sometimes, ultimately people have to earn, their cred. People have to earn their credentials to be free, actually, ultimately, and that's a defining concept, because we, like you talk about, you said Harriet Tubman, and just reflect on their life and where they were, and then it's like you hear some of the same stories. I keep hearing people saying we were fighting for A, B, and C, you know, and we're still having these conversations. And so, me just, learning from different people and, being a success scholar, I want to know what and how are we training people for success. And that means different things to different people, of course. And so, I am at a period where, I want to be around, I want to live long and healthy, productive life. And not everybody has developed the level of consciousness and awareness of their environment to extract and build the necessary skills to, produce for themselves and produce for, each other. And so building leaders, but also building a team around us is, what matters. Qualified, quality people. It's not always about having 10,000 followers, like for me, but it's about having some good, well-rounded people that with some work ethic, positive attitude, positive emotional health, right? All of those factors matter to our ultimate success.
Oh my goodness. But you look, you just gave me a whole essay to write on.
Wow, yes, yes, yes.
What
No,
is
and
that?
I have
I
your
mean,
book too. Yes.
you do, yes, and a lot of these are discussions that we need to have, and I hope that you and I can come back on and put some
Yes.
of these in the archives of the cloud
Hmm.
so that people
Yes.
will have these kinds of discussions. This is very important.
Right.
So I heard you say some pretty good key points, and I want to review those before we set off for the evening.
Hmm.
In order for us as organizations to create the kind of legacies that our ancestors left for us through the lives that they lived.
Mm.
You said succession planning,
Mm-hmm.
be able to spot talent and potential.
Yes.
You got to know who to pour into. My
Mm.
goodness.
Yes. Yes. Right.
who who are going to be the ones to preserve the knowledge and
Mm.
understand that they are preserving the knowledge for their lives.
Right. 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 Right.
And
Right.
the fifth note is people that we are leaving these legacies to and our organizations to, they have to earn their credentials.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Mm-hmm.
can't say, oh, here you go. They have to earn, oh,
Right.
this is wonderful. And then you talked about building a team. And
Mm.
that
Mm-hmm.
too is very good. Now,
Right.
some of our ancestors, their lives were brought down to us not just through verbal history, but books were written about them.
Mm.
They wrote literature for us to pass down. I'm quite sure your library is probably just as big as mine when it comes to all of the books that our ancestors left for us. So I'm going to add to that list that we need to start literally publishing, not just writing, publishing our own stories,
Mm.
publishing and putting in the archives, putting in the AR archives, because what I look at AI as, it's a collective consciousness. It
Mm.
is a
Mm-hmm.
collective consciousness from all of the things that have been put into the internet system over all of these 20, 30 some odd decades that the internet has been in existence.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what you've put in, because I'm quite sure if I typed in your name, AI is going to tell me everything that it knows about you that has been put on the internet.
Right.
So that collective consciousness is very important. So
Mm-hmm.
those books that we are writing, we have to make sure that we get our books into the Library of Congress and not just be independent publishers,
Mm. Mm.
because
Thank you.
when the digital aspect of what we write in the community becomes
Mm.
a part of that massive digital collective consciousness,
Mm.
then it can never be forgotten, because someone can always say, what did Dr. Haki do?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he
Mm-hmm.
important for us? And our
Mm.
children that are being influenced by this AI, this artificial intelligence, are going to be able to see everything on you, not just a little blurb about, you know, he was a firefighter. No, they're going to get all of the quotes that come from your books. So that collective
Mm-hmm.
consciousness needs to be a part of, we need to use that too
Mm.
in
Right.
terms of what we leave as a part of our legacy. So,
Yes.
I know some people are against the artificial intelligence, but I see a way that it can benefit our people too, in terms of us becoming a part of that collective consciousness.
Mm.
What
Mm.
do you think
Wow.
about that?
Wow. No, that absolutely no. That's some good, very very good jewels. I appreciate those insights. That's right and exact, right on point for sure.
Right. Okay, so I said I wouldn't keep you long tonight,
No, it's yeah.
but
Thank you.
you and I are gonna have to talk again.
Please,
I'm gonna have to
yes,
come back. I'm gonna have to come back on
yeah,
so with you so that we can do like 30 minutes to an hour
yes,
talking about
absolutely.
these types of conscious ideas,
Right, right, right.
because
Yes, yes, yes.
those who will watch this, those who have institutions,
Mm-hmm.
they will take these ideas and apply them, because
Right.
these 7 points that we've noted this evening, that
Mm-hmm.
is a very good beginning of understanding how our institutions can stop dying,
Right,
because our
right.
institutions, so many of them are dying and have died. Okay.
Mm,
And so we want to
yes.
make sure that we are a part of the ones that live on.
I say.
So, any final words before I let you go this evening?
No, well, no. I just want to say thank you. I do still, follow all of your great work, and I appreciate the opportunity to, just be present with you at this moment. So, Edison, to everybody, is that you speak tree?
See you speaking, Fanti.
You speak tree? You fluent?
Nice.
Okay. No, I was
A
asking, did you
little
speak?
bit. Kaka
Okay, okay.
kaka.
Yeah. No, well, no, it's just been, just beautiful, experience, me just growing and, just really understanding where we are, as a people, as a community, just hoping to, I mean, I did go when the president of Ghana was here. I didn't go to New York, but I went to Philadelphia. So,
Mhm.
I stay connected to, different people that are on the ground there at different times. And so, just always, just building unity, building collectivity, and building positivity, and, staying alive and free, right? So, yes.
Wonderful. Well, we
So,
definitely
thank you.
appreciate you, brother. And thank you too
Thank you,
for
Mama.
coming on.
Thank you. Thank
So
you,
though
Rosa.
so those of you who are watching, we definitely appreciate you chiming in. You can definitely review this on our YouTube channel and also our A Life of Peace Facebook page. And thank you very much for joining us. We have a few more guests that will be coming up in this live series. And remember, this is the mark, the impact, and the legacy of a life of peace at 20.